The match at NXT Takeover 30 against Adam Cole was something I had thought about potentially happening in my life since I was probably like 10, 11 years old, right? 10, 11. I don't know the exact age. I know there's a lot of those wrestling fans out there that can be like, I remember the exact match that brought me in and I was hooked. And the era that ran then, whenever it was just insane. I mean, the Monday Night Wars were such a real thing with bringing the absolute best out of a lot of people. I mean, Monday nights were the best night on television for me as a kid by far. Monday Night Football was in there. Then you had Raw and Nitro during the fall, and it was just, it was beautiful. And I felt as if I always related to wrestlers more than anybody else because wrestlers had to be athletic. They had to have a personality, had to be outgoing, and they had to be a little bit fearless. And for me, I was always trying to figure out what I wanted to be as a kid, right? I mean, everybody tries to do it. All I wanted to be was rich. That's all I wanted. Everybody asked me what I wanted to be when I was growing up. When I was a kid, all I wanted to be rich. I didn't care what it was. I didn't care how it was. I was like, I'm just going to be rich. I know that. It feels like all the rich people have the happiest lives. It feels like all the rich people do this. So all I want to be whenever I grow up is rich. And there was a lot of teachers that told me that obviously I wasn't caring about the right things. So I would try to I would try to see a profession. And if I thought that they were rich, I was like, oh, I want to do that. Like, I think I want to do that. So there was at one point I wanted to be a professional soccer player, obviously because I played soccer, but I would watch soccer and I was like, I don't think I really relate to a lot of these guys. Then I want to be a professional comedian because the Blue Collar Comedy Tour came and I was like, oh, I like these guys. I think stand-up comedy could be something I could do. Then you kind of see everything I've accomplished in my life thus far is basically from at one point during my childhood, I looked at it and I was like, oh, I think I want to do that. Just strictly because I thought the humans that were doing it were very rich. But when I watched wrestling for the first time, it was the first time I really looked at something. I was like, I feel like that's the world I'm supposed to be in. I think that is where I'm supposed to be. And then obviously trampoline wrestling was massive, especially in the town that I'm from. I think there's a special group of humans that do a lot of trampoline wrestling and have trampolines and above ground pools. And if you're watching or listening, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That was our neighborhood, the same neighborhood that had poker games whenever Chris Moneymaker went on to win the World Series of Poker. So all these things kind of went in there. So for like 20 years now, I've always dreamt of having a wrestling match. Now, a lot of things have gotten in the way with my ultimate goal of becoming a wealthy man for me not being able to wrestle. I got into a match with a guy named War Pig in South Charleston, West Virginia after college, and that was supposed to be an autograph signing. Obviously, I get called into the ring and War Pig pushes me around and I put him to sleep night with a super kick, 1, 2, 3. Nick Moraldo, myself, CFO Phil, and Slarm Dog, we all sprint out of the building because we thought we were going to get attacked by the 15 people that were there because we took out their guy, the War Pig. But then, obviously, football happened, and a career happened, and things get going business-wise for my family, my friends, myself, and we keep going. And that seed had always been planted. Like, okay, I'm supposed to wrestle. I think I'm still supposed to wrestle, especially after wrestling War Pig. I had a great time doing that. I was successful. Who's next? Nobody knows. But then the career continued and continued and continued. So I'd always had these seeds that I was supposed to wrestle. I get to work with WWE where I met Mansuri. I start doing kickoff shows and pre-shows and commentating and learning a little bit more about the world that I've always been a fan of. And even as an adult, my lady and I, we try to watch literally every single wrestling show that's on television just because it's such a combination of things. And I think a lot of people got a chance to see that whenever they dove into the NXT run that I had here for the last couple of weeks, that wrestling is just so much more than just wrestling. I mean, it's emotion, it's drama, it's comedy, it's athletics, it's everything that I feel like I've been attracted to for my entire life. So getting a chance to get into the ring this past Saturday. Now, the way the whole thing was set up, don't respect that. I don't like it at all. I don't like that my colitis having friend Ty had to get pushed in the process. I don't like that Triple H had to disrespect a man that I was a big fan of, obviously, disrespecting me on ESPN. But the fact that I got to get into the ring on Saturday was a moment that I thought about, like, hey, this is something I'm going to remember on my deathbed. And this is what happened. It's as easy as this. When you wrestle on a takeover for NXT, it's the best wrestling shows that happen. So I understood that there was going to be massive amount of pressure, massive amount of hype, massive amount of everything because takeovers, especially a monumental one like Takeover 30, is a big deal. I made a couple mistakes in there and I lost. And a lot of people were thinking, I made a lot of mistakes in there, okay? Shouldn't have kicked the steel chair. Shouldn't have done that. And by the way, watching it back, I got a chance to watch it yesterday. he obviously baited me into doing
Oh, yeah.
it. Like that was
Veteran move.
That was an
Wily
absolute
vet move.
That was an absolute mistake. I mean, I just blew his mind, obviously. Backflip, leap up, superplex, which, by the way, I was jacked up about. I mean, I was so pumped about it because those are things that as a kid, when I was watching wrestling, I'd see people do stuff and I'm like, oh, that looks awesome. That looks awesome. And I'd always been a good flipper on trampoline. So whenever he pushes me, I backflip, land it, jump up there. By the way, didn't know if I could get up there. Had no idea if I could get up there. We've done it. I've done it in my ring a couple of times, but then whenever I got into said ring, I was like, oh, I feel like this is a little bit higher than my. So getting up there, doing that whole thing, superplex, I think he potentially had his mind blown for a second. Definitely baited me into kicking the stairs. A couple other mistakes. Should have won up late for off the top rope, obviously, for the double act. Well, what was I going to do up there? I realized when I got up there, by the way, there was really nothing I could do up here. So then he kicks me in the face. So a couple mistakes in there, more than a few. I end up with the loss. But boy, what a bucket list item to go. And you know what? And say, yeah, I got a chance to do something I always thought I was supposed to do. And I enjoyed the living hell out of it. I did. But, I mean, a win's a lot better. And aside from this loss, by the way, I'm still an undefeated wrestler.
That's right.
Yeah.
Aside from this loss, I'm still an undefeated wrestler.
I mean, no one here, no blowing smoke up your ass. Like, that legit was one of the most entertaining, exciting things that I've ever seen you do. And I've seen you do a lot of stuff, but it just doesn't surprise me anymore. And I got, like, legit real joy and goosebumps when you saw all these diehard wrestling fans after, like, oh my God, this dude is legit. Like, this isn't just some gimmick. Like, this guy knows how to wrestle.
Was pretty cool, by the way, because I saw a lot of people that as soon as Mr. H made this a match at TakeOver, I saw a lot of people on the internet just start burying. I mean, I was getting buried by people that I thought I was a part of their community. But I follow all the dirt sheets. Like, I follow all the big time people because I am a wrestling fan, and I'm just watching all these people just bury me, and I'm like, man, you guys have no idea. Like, honestly, now the cliche about punters and kickers is they're not very athletic, obviously, and all that stuff. But I think if you just watch a half of not even a half of a game of my career, I'm a little bit different than I think a lot of people. And I assume that I hoped that a lot of people got to see that. Although I wanted this thing to end quick. I think we had a hell of a show.
You had your Rocky IV moment, which was incredible. That was the first thing that kind of came to my head when I was watching the responses to your match on Twitter. You know, all these folks within the internet wrestling community that were on your ass once the match was made, that hated you and just threw all this vitriol at you. Your performance turned them. So it's very, very vindicating. Look, like Ty said, no blowing smoke up your ass, man. Like, takes a lot to actually do something that you talk about.
Yeah, well, I've kind of made a career of doing that, but you're 100% right. Walking out there, it was the first time I've ever done anything. When I was walking out there, and the boys were with me or whatever, I looked at this, I was like, this is the dumbest life of all time. Yeah. I mean, what the hell am I doing? My face was all over the thing. I had entrance music, by the way, which is an entire story in of itself, which will be told one day. I had entrance music. I mean, it was awesome. I had a good time. Should have won. But that's something you can just go ahead and check off the bucket list.
You talk about the internet people, too. Not just the internet people, the other people in the building, too. There were a lot of people in that building that when Pat walked out, they're like, why is this guy in there?
Oh, yeah.
Why is he in there over me? I should. But by the end of the match, they were all standing, clapping, cheering him on, like genuinely clapping, because they were booing you at the beginning, giving you a hard time, trying to get in your head, and then you just flipped it on their heads with that performance.
It was, and I got flipped on my head, by the way. Hey, I'll tell you what. I watched that one back, too, a couple times. I woke up yesterday a little sore, obviously. Foot was really sore. Obviously, the right foot. I kicked the hell out of those. I kicked the hell out of those things. He definitely baited me into that, too. Like, I didn't realize it after the match. Obviously, when I was laying there dead tired and dead or whatever, I didn't even think, and I go back or whatever, and everybody's like, good show, good performance, And I watch it back, like, look, he is definitely just baiting me into kicking that there, and that's a rookie mistake.
What are you going to do?
Those are some rookie mistakes right there. That's going to happen, but I enjoyed the hell out of it. Very, very thankful to check that off the bucket list, and yeah, I mean, the body's still sore. I would like to let everybody know that I am still sore, okay? Neck, back, leg, foot. I mean, there is some soreness, but it feels good. It feels good to be back in the back in the world of the body being sore.
Coliseum.
Yeah, back in the arena.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And gravity does work, by the way. Hey, remember Jeff Hardy came through our office.
Yeah.
and literally taught us the Swanton. So I don't know if anybody saw the tribute to Jeff Hardy. I even did the double guns down as if I'm Jeff Hardy, had to do it into the dudes. Poor guys. They were just with the Undisputed Era with wrong time, wrong people. Had to catch 240 pounds of ass coming at you.